I'm David Domke. I'm chair of the Department of Communication here at the University of Washington. I like to do occasional conversations, podcasts with some of our talented alumni. I'm fortunate to be joined today by one of our Hall of Fame inductees in 2014, Sharon Carey LeeMaster. And we're just going to talk a little bit about her experiences and her career and some of the things that give her energy around the world today. So thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you.
Let's just start. Sharon, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Seattle, quite fortunately. I feel pleased that I could live in wonderful Seattle.
And did you grow up with an expectation that you'd go to the University of Washington?
I was told I was going to the University of Washington. Grandma graduated in 1894 with a master's and a BA from the University of Washington. She graduated in Denny Hall when there were no rooms. It was just the shell of the building. And during the winters, they had fires, just like a beach fire, to keep warm. So Grandma was there, and then my father and mother, and so I was expected to go to the University of Washington.
Did you ever think about going anywhere else? Did you apply elsewhere?
Oh, I applied quietly to Stanford first. I got a partial scholarship, and I remember when the postman came, and I said, "Mother, look," we were standing there at the kitchen door, "I've got a partial scholarship to Stanford." And she looked at me, and she said, "We go to the University of Washington, dear."
All right, Mom.
That was the end.
And you've got your beautiful purple outfit on today?
I'm considered Mrs. Purple in San Diego.
Mrs. Purple, okay.
Yes.
Because you wear it so much, or?
When there's something significant happening, and since I'm in the not-for-profit field, and I'm also asking people for money, and I just feel energized when I'm in purple. Of course, the football team has helped me a lot in prior years, and I'm hoping a little more this year.
Yeah, we're hoping too. We're hoping,
Okay.
Sure. So what post-graduation, what have been maybe two real professional highlights for you?
Well, I think serving on the international board of the Professional Fundraising Society for 11 years.
Yeah.
And in doing that, I was the one who established the Hong Kong chapter of the Professional Fundraising Association with a little help from my son, who was living there. But I think making the transition from being a journalist, working in public relations and marketing, and transitioning into taking all those skills and putting them into practice in the not-for-profit world has been wonderful, and it's done good things for me and for a lot of organizations.
What are the kind of pieces about fundraising in the nonprofit world that energize you?
Asking people to do something, giving them the opportunity to make it better for the folks in the community. It's that easy.
Yeah, it is. It is actually one of the things when I became chair that I thought would be very difficult would be to think about money and raising funds. But I have found it to be exactly what you've just said. It's not asking people to do something they don't want to do.
Right.
It's finding an opportunity for something they do want to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think the skills that you learn as a journalist, how to talk to people, how to do research in the background, how to put things before them in a way that's easy, and all of those skills come together when you're putting together an ask for money or for opportunity or for volunteerism. And so I do my who, what, where, when, why, and how before I go out on a call. It stays with me.
Sure. Now, you live in San Diego right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you come to go to San Diego?
Well, my husband was getting a teaching certificate, and there was a notice on the bulletin board while I was waiting for him that there was an interview for teachers in San Diego. So I signed him up for the interview.
The notice was up here in Seattle?
Yes, yeah. He was in the education department. He was getting a special education credential.
Uh-huh.
To this day, he still thinks that the professor recommended him for the interview. And when your Erica Thompson interviewed me, I mentioned it. She put it in a little story. He read it and he said, "And to think, all those years, I didn't know how I got to San Diego." The reason that I wanted to go to San Diego, from the time I was 7 years old, I kept saying, "I'm going to California. I'm getting out of here when I'm 21." And I made it when I was 24.
Okay. Well, it's a beautiful place to live. And you've certainly...
Sunshine attracts.
It does, and the moderate climate as well.
Mm-hmm.
What are the what's an activity or a piece of your life right now that is consuming in a good way for you?
Well, I think working on the centennial in San Diego, the Panama Canal opening for the San Diego History Center is very, very important to me, and making things available to others. I'm also working for the ticket booth, half-price ticket booth for all of the arts organizations. And so the city mowed the booth down and then had a bunch of problems, and now I've got to find the money in the next 60 days, and I'm halfway there.
Okay.
So, everything that I do requires collaboration with others. And I have the most amazing good fortune to be sitting next to Mrs. Gottrocks, or Mr. Gottrocks as I always call them, are people. I just have something helps me find people, and I'm good at research.
So if you were talking to a student or two today, because one of the things we like to do is to have our students learn from our alums, right? If you were talking to students today and they were coming out in 2014, what would be a characteristic or an attribute that you would say, this is really something that's going to be essential for you, for success?
Well, I've mentored over 100 young journalists and fund development people.
Sure.
And I always say to them, pay attention to your marketing skills. The best employees in the not-for-profit world are those who come from the marketing background, because you have to think of a way of presenting, et cetera, et cetera. But I think being tenacious, asking questions, learning about the past, having a good command of English, or whatever your native language is very important.
Yeah.
But being a people person is even more important.
I think a kind of a relentless curiosity and desire to talk to people and to know them, and to extract the wisdom that they have, right, is I think actually a separation piece for our students. When they have that kind of just drive to want to know more and to ask people questions, those are the folks that you just look at them and you say, you're gonna make it and you're gonna do well, right? Yeah. Now, so do you have a family here still in Seattle?
I have a sister and a brother who are fortunate to live here still, and that means I can come visit and have a place to hang my hat. And I have many, many friends from the university and from my high school years. So we come at least once a year or more. But also it's quite amazing how many of them come to visit me.
I'm sure they do, right around January and February, right?
Yes.
So you are being inducted into the Department of Communication Alumni Hall of Fame in 2014, and we're honored to have you. Absolutely. Your work is amazing, and your person, the values you have, that's, as you'll hear me say later on tonight, the values plus the career, those are the pieces we look for. What does it mean to you to join the Hall of Fame?
Well, first of all, I'm still astounded and honored, but it's just, I'm speechless, which is very unusual in trying to describe what it means. And my husband can't believe it. She's usually got an opinion on everything. But it's a real honor, and to be associated with a university where the family, all these generations, because not only my grandmother, but my mother and father, but sisters, brothers, nieces, nephews, we have quite a family history. Yeah,
that's wonderful to have that family history. And now, right outside of this room that we're in, there's a wall of recognition where...
I was noticing it, and I was amazed how many people I knew.
Yeah, is that right? Yeah, and your name is on there, right? It's going to be on there forever, permanently.
Well, my name comes a little different. When I was in school, my mother said when I was working on the daily to use my first name, which is Sharon Lee, which is 2 words, because Sharon Carey would be a 2-column byline instead of a 1-column.
Okay.
She was a really very clever woman.
Okay.
And then I married Mr. LeeMaster, so technically I am Sharon LeeMaster.
Okay, all right. I thought you were going to tell me you put the word Lee onto that to combine that. Okay. Well, that's well, we're thrilled to have you out there, Sharon Carey LeeMaster. Yeah. And honored to have you in our Hall of Fame. Thank you for coming up tonight here from San Diego for the induction ceremony.
Well, thank you for having such beautiful weather.
Absolutely. We did provide that for today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
Thank you.
This is David Domke, Chair of the Department of Communication. Thank you for joining us for this with another amazing alum of ours. Good day.